Welcome back to On Deck Circle Podcast, brought to you by the Fancy Six Pack. I am your neon hat wearing host, Nick Z, and I'm with my very good friend. I believe that's a big league chew hat, Mr.
It
Jason.
is. It is the where's the big league chew logo? Grape, Grape Big League Chew Cubs collaboration.
Yeah, that's a good hat. I got this hat for my birthday from my lovely wife. Oh my god, my hair is fucking wild. Um, it has a little beagle on it
Nice.
because we have a beagle. Unfortunately, this beagle has four legs. Our beagle has three.
Does
So
it really? I never knew
oh, yeah,
that.
she's a tripod. She's walking around with three legs.
Damn, I didn't know that. Shout out to the tripod,
Shout out to Fran. Fran,
Fran.
her nub is just wiggling. Whenever you talk
Nice.
about it, it's kind of like Harry Potter's scar. If you
Yeah,
talk about Fran's missing leg, it just wiggles.
nice.
Enough talk about my disabled dog that I do not get good parking spots with. But it is time for the cold open question of the week. And Jason, this is probably the most lame cold open question of the week that I could ask. But this is a holiday that I'm really into, just Memorial Day, as in like a July 4th junior.
Yep.
And I just want to know what you did over your long weekend. All right.
Yep.
Ready, set, go. All right, Jason. So what do we got here?
Yeah. It's definitely one of those holidays that kicks off the summer, right? It's the precursor to Fourth of July, Fourth of July Junior, as you will, as you said. I went camping.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, more of a glamping than a camping, as our friends have an RV.
Okay.
But amongst that glamping, we had a little bit of a tornado scare. Sirens were
Oh,
going off. Our phones were giving that like
yeah.
Amber Alert noise. Had to
Yep.
run to the shelter, the bathrooms, the public bathrooms, and shelter in
Yeah.
place for like 10
Cover.
minutes. No tornadoes hit, but the last place you want to be in a tornado watch is in an RV. So that was a fun little experience for sure. But other than that, I mean, Saturday the weather was gorgeous. The
Nice.
pools all open up around here. I'm sure it's the same in Boston. Like Memorial Day weekend kicks off all the public pools. The pool at the campground was open. Kids were having a blast. The beers were flowing.
Good.
Having
How
a good
many
old time.
how many people did you go glamping with?
So it's me, my wife, our friends, our husband and wife, and then our my two kids and their two kids. So the eight
Nice.
of us. Yeah.
And the kids get along for the most part. Are they like
Yeah.
same age too?
Pretty much same age. I have two boys, they have two girls. They still all get along.
Yeah. How far away do you have to go to glamp?
Glamping is about an hour and a half north across
Okay.
the Cheddar Curtain into Wisconsin. As many of us Chicagoans and Illinoisans do, we use and abuse Wisconsin for our pleasure.
Yeah. For lake houses and all of those.
Lake houses. Most of our vacations,
Yep.
as many Illinoisans as you grow up, that's where you vacation is Wisconsin. You go to
Yeah.
the Wisconsin Dells. That's where lake life is. It's the best place to go and visit, but not live.
It's kind of like New Hampshire for me.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like too far away from like real civilization. So you're like, all right, nice.
Yeah. What about you?
So my birthday was the 25th, so Saturday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. 31. I'm now too old to be an elite baseball player.
Yep.
Unless I'm a pitcher. But yeah, so we actually went to Baltimore. We caught a Red Sox game at Camden Yards, which was nice.
Camden.
It was nice. I have some takes.
Okay, let's hear them.
It was nice. We went with kids, and as you know, with kids, you got to go early because there's a lot of things like we had to get like a baby in, so like that was a lot, and like the other kid is about 5. So he wants to go to the pro shop. He wants to go meet the bird before the game. He wants to go to they have like a playground in there. So like we're there for, I think gates opened at 11 for the 1:00 game. It is packed.
Okay. It's
like,
a holiday week. Was this on Sunday or Monday or Saturday?
This was Sunday. So it was packed. And so we're going. I don't know if this is just a Boston thing, but these people move too slow. And like, I'm just trying to get around people. I think it's just me being like a city person. So I'm like, I need to like move around you. The pro shop was awful. Tiny.
Weird.
And there was a huge line to get into the pro shop, which is fine, like whatever. But you're in there and the whole pro shop is a line. And it's like you're walking through and you're looking like left and right for the things you want. And then it's one big line. And then like you get to the front counter. So like it was just a weird experience for me. So I was not a fan of the pro shop. I did, however, I spent way too much money on food.
I was going to ask you, how are the concessions? That's one of my favorite things.
I went to Jimmy's Seafood, which is like a thing in Maryland.
Okay. Yeah.
And I got a crab sandwich.
Nice. And
crab egg rolls.
Nice.
It cost me $52.
Holy shit. That's some ballpark pricing right there.
It's fine. We're on like a vacation of sorts. We're staying at her sister's house. So like we're not paying for that. The flight was cheap. And I was like, I'm never going to spend this much money at Fenway. I'll get a sausage and a beer and be good.
Yeah.
So it was good. The Sox got rocked, and my nephew the whole game was just rubbing it in my face. So last night, when the Red Sox took a big lead, I texted his dad and was like, "Tell Zach tell Zach that the Orioles stink," or something like that. But overall, good stadium. Parking was good. Was easy to get out, so that was good. So my biggest gripe are people walking slow. But that's just my old man take. I don't like in general. If someone walks slow, it pisses me off.
Yep.
And then the pro shop was whack because of the way it was laid out. They just need a bigger one. Like Fenway has about 30 different pro shops, and they're all bigger than this one.
Damn.
Especially with like a good team.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's something they're gonna like redo as like the new ownership takes over. Like small things are gonna happen, but like. Awful pro shop.
That's one of the parks that I want to get to.
Yes,
Fenway too.
We got to get you to Fenway, Jason.
Yeah,
maybe like I don't know when you can.
You need to do like a quick, like just like 48-hour layover in Boston. Like fly out Friday night, go to game and hang out on Saturday, and fly home Sunday.
Yeah, I'll go with you. So
yeah, of course
we can get fucking Bob there. We can get all of the Boston fantasy baseball people.
Absolutely.
I can get Jake Devereaux there.
That'd be killer.
Ian Kundle.
I'm drinking Allagash White right now.
Sam Summer.
Oh, okay.
A true Boston boy.
Yeah. Well, I know that you're right by Portland, but Allagash White's like one of I digress. It's one of my favorite beers. But anyways. Let's get into some baseball talk. I know stadiums is baseball talk, but let's get into the meat and potatoes. Before we do that, though, take care of some business. Do you want to get access to the most accurate fantasy baseball rankings according to Fantasy Pros? We got DFS, we got betting projections, custom league advice on our Discord. Our Discord's been popping lately. A lot of little big trade talks. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Even the football's been popping off with all the Dynasty talk for football. So it's not just baseball related. We got. Just like the website, we got, all the major sports covered on our Discord with all custom league advice. You can do all that by signing up to become an all-access member today. Head on over to fantasy6pack.net/plans. That's my business spiel. But for real, though, Discord's been kind of great. I love interacting with people there, so everyone should sign up for that because that's one of my favorite things. But we cannot go on another episode without talking about the biggest news, probably... I don't know, in the last, maybe even like all last year, too. I don't even know if.
Yeah.
Let's just get it out there. It's Ronald Acuna.
But wow,
torn ACL,
again,
missing his second year in the last 3 years. 4 years. 2 out of the last 4 years he's been hurt. He missed 21 with a torn knee. Came back to a pretty mediocre 2022 season. And obviously we know how amazing 2023 was. So maybe the trend continues. Stay away from Acuna in 2025. And then in 2026, we're back to MVP Acuna. But, before this, he was already off to a pretty underwhelming start. He only had a 716 OPS, only had 4 home runs. Did have 16 steals, which was kind of quiet, to be honest with you. He was just getting like one here and there slowly at a time, compiling those 16 stolen bases in basically 2 full months. So you're looking about 8 stolen bases a month average. And right now he was currently ranked as the 71st overall player on Fantrax and the 14th overall outfielder. So still kind of in that outfield 1 player, but not a first round return. Obviously at all, because he was 71st ranked player. This is kind of crazy. I don't know if it's the playing time in the season that he went pretty hard last year. 40 home runs, 70 stolen bases. It's going to take a wear on the body. He was again off to the home run and power wasn't there, but we're seeing the power down everywhere in baseball. So for him to have only 4 home runs, that's one of the biggest. I think one of the biggest news. Every year it's like, is this the dead ball? Is this the juiced ball? Is it? Home runs are down severely right now. Our league leader only has 18 home runs, and it's going to be June 1st. So 2 full months, and that league leader's only 18 home runs. But anyways, Ronald Acuna is out for the 24th season. He'll be back in 2025. Right now, I think the biggest thing is, and this is kind of going to come full circle at the end. I have some questions for you, but if you own Acuna Jr., what are you doing with him? Are you going to try and trade him, keeping him?
It depends on the
team. Are you buying Acuna right now at a low?
I have sent an offer in 2 out of my 3 tradable leagues. I've sent an offer on Acuna. Both have been rejected. But yeah, I would buy him. He's good. He's young. And I get it that it's a knee and that sucks, but it's the other knee. If you're going to be kind of positive out of this, it's a contact thing. So it was just I don't know if it was if it was his other knee, I would say it was like a ticking time bomb type thing. This just seems like it just sucks. It just sucks for you. But I would buy him where I can. I actually wanted to bring up to you. So he was traded in one of my leagues, and I wanted to tell you what that trade was. Save it
for the end, because I have a thing that's going to kind of, maybe not the end, but here soon. I have a question to present to you about an Acuna trade. So let's save it, because I got one for you to ask you as well. But today's episode, we're going to be talking about dynasty stocks. Where some of these players are they falling? Are they rising? Are you trying to buy them, trying to sell them? Are you keeping, holding, that kind of thing? And I think a good spot to start, obviously, is aside from Acuna, because that's a good one to talk about too. But aside from Acuna, another one that he had another huge 2023, and that was the reigning Rookie of the Year, and that's Corbin Carroll, who is currently off to a very, very slow start. He's slashing 184, 269, slugging 279. He only has 2 home runs, 9 stolen bases, does have 23 runs scored, but the hard hit rate's way down, the barrel rate's way down. His expected batting average, expected WOBA, all the expected stats are way down from 2023. He's chasing more. A lot of that could be pressing. I know that he's been struggling all of this year, so it could be the point now where he's it's getting kind of mental. They've even tried moving him down in the order. I don't know what are you doing with Corbin Carroll if you own him?
Man, if I'm the Diamondbacks, I send him down, honestly, just to get his confidence back up. Because what I'm seeing, and I'm not saying I'm watching a bunch of D-backs games, because that's just not what I do. But from everything I've seen, he just looks dejected out there, and he's still a super young player. And someone else that I wanted to, when you texted me and gave me names, I forgot about this one, but the same type of like Evan Carter, another young guy that's really struggling. And these like, I know this isn't, is this Carroll's second year? Yes. Full season.
Yeah. So last year he did not have a full season. He came up I think middle of the year.
Yep. Okay. So like it's these growing pains happen and we've seen it. It just sucks that it's happening now because he was a top 5 pick, top 7 pick in most startup, like not in startup or like a redraft. Like it's just such a shame because he looked like to be one of these young superstars of like the new era of baseball. And now, I don't know, man. I'd be worried if I'm an owner. I don't have him anywhere.
Yep.
But like, yeah, it's just so hard because he was such a big part of that team last year. And now he's contributing like a replacement level player. So you're like, is this who he is? Which I do not truly believe. I think he's going to be a great MLB player, but we need to do something just because struggling at the MLB level, he's a young guy. He's going to read the tweets. He's going to see all of these things going at him. You need to get that confidence back up before it's too late.
Yeah, he's one of the leagues I'm in, an owner put up, he's available. I threw out a pretty low ball offer just because I don't know. Like obviously I would be open to acquiring him.
Yeah.
But I just don't know how much I'm willing to pay. He still is only 23. Like I said, he's still young. And this new thing that just came out this year on StatCast is his bat speed. That everyone's talking about bat speed, right? Like, how it correlates.
Did that happen like within the last like 3 weeks?
So I think this is the first year they're doing it. I think we've now reached the point where we have enough data.
Like sample? Okay.
Yeah, big enough sample size. That's why it rolled out. Like, I think people are trying to talk about it the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, is that the sample size and the data size is now big enough to kind of compile and correlate it to some things. But when you look at his StatCast page, his bat speed is pretty much the only thing that's in the top 80th percentile of the league. And that's what has me most concerned is a lot of the advanced stats, right? Like all the barrel rate, the hard hit rate, he's hitting a ton of soft contact right now. His X batting average is only 236. He's batting 184, and his X batting average is only 236. His slugging, which it was, he'd always hit home runs in the minors, not a huge amount, like more like the 20 to 25 range. Yeah. He's not even going to come close to that this year. And his X slug is only 340. Right? He's not even slugging 300. Most people have an on base percentage of above 300. He's not even slugging 300. So I'm a little worried about him. Again, I put out an offer. I did get. I believe the owner is obviously, and when you get a player like that, they're going to wait for the best and greatest offer. Yeah. I don't know if mine's the strongest. I offered a lot of pitching for him, and a couple of young hitting prospects like Gavin Cross, and stuff like that. But some older veteran pitching, just because again, I don't know. I'd like to buy him because it's so low right now. I'm not going to put out some high ball offer either.
It's so hard to trade him though. If you're the guy, you're like, this is like my golden. Like you thought this was your golden goose. Like you were like, this is my. You thought it was Kyle Tucker.
Yeah,
someone that we're going to talk about pretty soon.
Yeah,
but this is probably the hardest one out of the list for me, just because we've seen him be so great and be a difference maker in fantasy and real baseball, and now it's this. I think your best is just to hold him. And because what's the Gavin Cross, he's fine, but you're not. The ceiling for Carroll is bigger than anything that you'll get unless you're getting someone that's super aggressive towards him.
Yeah, exactly. And then the upside's too high for Carroll. If I'm the owner, I'm holding. But if I'm trying to buy it, I'm gonna because again, you're only gonna get low ball offers right now. He's basically at the bottom of the barrel. It's pretty much as low as it's as low as it can get. I mean, I don't know if you can send him back down, but I don't think they're that far off from sending him back down because it's been pretty bad. I saw he played today and he had, I think, a double and some stuff today, but I know we'll see. The verdict's still out on Corbin Carroll. The Dynasty stock is definitely down. Like I said, this was like a top 5 Dynasty asset going into the year, and I don't think it's anywhere near that right now.
That's wild.
And one of the names you did pull up that we are going to talk about now, and that's Kyle Tucker of the Astros. Complete opposite wait, before we get into that, real quick, Corbin Carroll, 57th ranked overall outfielder, 254 overall against all players. So that's where he ranks. These ranks are all according. I'm gonna pull up I have the ranks for everybody. It's the ranks according to Fantrax, because that's pretty much it's the only place you can really go to get like dynasty rankings and where they currently rank for free. So that's where we're at on that. And Fantrax is a good place to look at that stuff. So those are those ranks for Corbin Carroll. But someone else now, talking about stock up, that's Kyle Tucker. He's currently ranked as the number 1 outfielder and the 4th player overall on Fantrax. He has a 1,000 OPS. He is the league leader with 18 home runs that I was talking about earlier about how the power's way down, but he still has 18 home runs for the first 2 months of the season. And the best thing about him is, from a dynasty aspect, he does not miss time. He's never had a huge absence in his career. Since his debut in 2018, so that's seven years. I know 2018 and 2019 were small samples, but in the 7 years that he's been in the majors, this is his 162 game average, according to Baseball Reference. 92 runs scored, 32 home runs, 108 RBIs, 24 stolen bases, and a 351 on base. Sounds like a pretty, if not top 5, top 3 dynasty asset right now. He's just consistent.
So and what's so funny is when I first started playing Dynasty, we did 2 separate drafts. It was a major league draft, and then so that was like 30 rounds or whatever. Then we did 20 rounds of the prospect draft. Mm-hmm. And I think I had the fourth or 5th pick. This was years ago. I picked Kyle Tucker. Mainly because when I looked him up, the scouting report said Ted Williams. And I was just like, well, this guy must be great.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I did trade him, which is fine because I trade everybody. I trade my own fucking 3-legged dog for a 4-legged dog. But just such a great player. And do you know who loves him? Grandpas. All around the United States, all around Houston. He plays the game the right way. He doesn't have the batting gloves. He is just such a great player. And what really sucks is there was a choice probably around pick 5, 6 this season between Corbin Carroll and Tucker. And I would probably say that if we looked at ADP before opening day, Corbin Carroll is going before Kyle Tucker. And right now, those people that made that choice are kicking themselves because Kyle Tucker is looking like a borderline MVP candidate.
Yep.
And like the only thing that's going to beat him would be Judge. And that's just because Judge is on another planet in the month of May.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, you won't be able to get Kyle Tucker anywhere because no one's selling. And there's no point in trying because if you sold him, if you're the one trading Kyle Tucker, there's nothing you can get right now that can be better than that. Other than like, I wouldn't trade Kyle Tucker for Judge like ever.
Yeah.
For Dynasty or a redraft. It's just like you're not going to get someone better than Tucker. He's still under 20. Is he 26?
27 right now. So he's basically in his prime.
So you still got another 3-4 years of all-star MVP candidate. And yeah, man, he is just on another planet. I think we see him be top 3, top 4 next year in redraft and in dynasty ranks for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's even making a case for being number 1 overall next year in redraft. This is a true,
especially with Acuna hurt.
Right. You don't know what you're going to get from Acuna, and aside from Acuna, he's one of the few that you can count on a very high floor in all 5 categories. He's gonna consistently bring all 5. He is basically, so he hasn't technically gotten 30-30 in the majors. Last year he was a home run shy of it, but he did get 30-30 in the minors. So you're basically counting on, I mean, he had 29-30 last year. He had 32-25 the year before. You're basically getting 30-30 from him every year, 100 RBIs, and like most leagues in OBP, above 350. So I would pretty much put him almost at 1-1 in redraft next year. And like I said, he's probably a top 3 dynasty asset right now. Definitely top 5.
Yeah, love
more
him.
to come on that for sure. I got some little tidbits to talk about there, but yeah, he's a stud, and like I said, you can't even buy him right now. So next guy here we're gonna talk about is Vlad Jr. of the Toronto Blue Jays. Who the Blue Jays have just been awful, but that's beside the point here. Vlad Jr. right now is ranked as the 16th first base and 152nd overall when it comes to Fantrax rankings. The power, I keep saying this like every guy we talk about, the power is just not there this year. He only has 5 home runs this year. That's after hitting 110 home runs combined the last 3 seasons, including 48 home runs in 2021. His slugging has even dipped every year since 2021, which is weird because you would think the more older and mature you get, the power goes up and slugging goes up. That's then the opposite. His advanced stats are still really there, and the counting stats are still really there. Just I think we maybe need to temper. After they came out of the gate in 2021, I think we may need to temper our expectations on the power numbers from him. In which that case, especially as a first baseman, that's what you need from your first baseman is power numbers. So I think in that retrospect, I think his stock has kind of taken a dip over the last year and a half or so, 2 years. But I don't know. From a dynasty standpoint, I'd still be trying to buy him down the low just because he's still young. He still again get you those counting stats. And maybe you're in a league that has corner infielder, can plug him in there instead of first base, have somebody else at first base. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on Vlad Jr.?
So my big thing here is he's doing good other than the power. And that's something that, yes, it is first base, but he's been contributing everywhere. And a few weeks ago, I traded Dylan Cease for him. Maybe not a few weeks ago, maybe like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And I'm happy with it just because like players like this will find their groove again. He is a power hitter. He is. Like you said, he hit 48 home runs. He's going to finish the year with 30 home runs. More likely than not. Is there a way that he doesn't? Yes. But as long as he's hitting the ball, which he's doing very well of the last like 3 weeks, because the first maybe like month or so, he kind of struggled, like actually struggled, not even with the home runs, just with everything. But now he's starting to put the ball in play. So I think the power is going to come in the next few weeks. At least that's what I'm hoping for. But yes, I would be trading for him everywhere if I could.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, he's one of those super buy low candidates. Just don't count on the power right now. I think we're also to the point now where we get these conspiracies where like MLB might step in here pretty soon and start giving out these juiced balls.
They have to
because the power is just so down right now.
I think I won a week in home runs with like 4.
Yeah, I believe it. It's crazy.
This isn't fun.
I wish I did totals in front of me, but there's the amount of people that have double-digit home runs is actually pretty shocking. You might even be able to do it, count them on both hands.
Yeah, it's nuts.
All right, let's get into our next guy here, and that's going to be a pitcher finally. That's Pablo Lopez of the Twins. After a huge 2023, we were like, I mean, they probably still did, but the Twins obviously fleeced the Marlins on this deal. He was basically looked like top 5, top 10, maybe top 5, top 10 dynasty starting pitching asset after 2023. This year had a little bit of struggles. Right now he's ranked as the 38th starting pitcher and the 88th overall player. Both his whiff and his chase rates are down this year, so he's not getting quite those swinging strikes that we like. He's inducing less ground balls, which is what that's like his calling card, right? Striking out players and getting ground balls. And not only are the fly ball rate up, but so is the home runs this year. He's surrendering a lot more home runs than he has in the years past. And his home run to fly ball ratio is way up. The ERA is way up. The one thing he is still doing, though, is he is still striking people out and not walking batters. But when people are getting on base, they're coming around to score, and that's really hurt him this year. But he's in a really weak division. They're playing Minnesota. I don't know about by Boston, but here I'm in Chicago. I'm close to Minnesota. The weather's been awful. I don't know how many home games he's had, but I'm sure it's been really cold up there. It was only a high of 68 degrees here in Chicago. It's almost June. I got to imagine once the weather starts warming up here, we could see a little bit of a rebound from here because the whip is right in line with what he normally is along.
Yeah.
The only right now is the ERA. The ERA has been really bad, and his xERA is actually pitching worse than his expected stats suggest.
Yeah.
But is he bad?
No, I don't think he's bad. I think he's just been kind of shitty for the like we all have a couple bad days at work, and unfortunately, his bad days have been bad. Like his last his last 2 starts have been bad. He has games of 6 earned, 7 earned. Then the rest are all like 3 4s, 1s, and then you have one other 5. So I think this next start, which is going to be against Houston, his next 2 starts are Houston and New York. So those will be 2 big starts. One will be in Houston and the other's in New York. So I think we'll be able to hopefully see more of a 2023 version of Pablo coming in the second half. I'm not incredibly worried about him. I would not trade him because the worst value you can get is selling low on a pitcher just because like those values fluctuate. Like 2 weeks ago, Hunter Brown looked like some jabroni that shouldn't be playing in baseball, and now he's starting to come on again. So I think we just need to kind of hold tight on the Pablo.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he's gotten a little bit of bad luck. When you look at his pitch mix is basically along the lines the same. The velocity is the same. A lot of the IVB is the same. It's just like it's hard to explain why his ERA is up. It's just a matter of, I think, being unlucky. His WOBA, which is basically BABIP for pitchers, is kind of high. So that could be some of the reasons, too. He's getting a little bit of unluckiness here. But yeah, I would be holding Pablo. I don't think anyone's selling Pablo right now. He's still been good enough to hold on to in Dynasty leagues. So better times ahead for Pablo Lopez.
I hope so.
I'm sure this next guy we're talking about here is a topic that you'd talk about. That's the Yankees. That's Anthony Volpe of the shortstop for the Yankees. And
he's better than Jeter.
Which Jeter? Oh, Derek Jeter? Right now, he currently ranks as the 6th overall shortstop and 36th overall according to Fantrax. Again, he had his struggles in 2023, right? He did not have a really good high batting average, low on base percentage, but he ended up having some really good counting stats in the year. And the counting stats are one of the biggest things we talk about when it comes to fantasy baseball. So can't ignore that. Right now, he's off to a really great start. He's got 18 extra base hits, 6 of those for home runs. He's got 36 runs scored, 23 RBIs, 11 stolen bases. However, when you look at his advanced stats in the StatCast page, not good. A lot of this suggests that we might see some regression here, but I think a lot of the reasons too, maybe this is the New York syndrome, but like if Anthony Volpe played for, let's say, the Rockies, would his counting stats look like this? Would he have 36 runs scored? Would he have 23 RBIs? Again, the batting average is way up right now. He's batting 285 compared to his 209 last year. So we're seeing a little bit better of an approach at the plate, but he's still, chasing and stringing strikes. Stringing strikes are kind of high too. But the K rate's a little bit down at only 20%. Again, last year he had he went 2020. It's hard to say if he's on pace for that because he only has 6 home runs right now, but he's up there with the stolen bases already at 11. I think he might be supplanting himself as a top 10 dynasty shortstop. What do you think?
Completely agree. Next, I'm not talking about a Yankee for that long.
No worries, man. I like the commitment to the bit. I couldn't think of what the word was. Commitment to the bit on the Yankees. So we'll skip right over Anthony Volpe, top 10 dynasty shortstop asset.
It's not a fucking bit, Jason. I hate the Yankees.
All right, anyways. Let's go here to our last and final guy. And this one has me perplexed. I'm always a huge Arozarena fan. Right now, he currently ranks as the 44th outfielder and the 203rd overall player in all of fantasy baseball according to Fantrax. He's been bad this year. He's currently playing worse than a replacement level player. His WAR is he has a negative WAR right now on Baseball Reference. He only has 18 RBIs and 8 home runs, which the 8 home runs is nice because, again, the power is down across everybody. But he's in that big blob of people from that have 5 to 10 home runs. There's a ton of people like that. His K rate is way up. His chase rate's way up. The hard hit percent is way down. It's below league average. All his expected stats suggest that these struggles are for real. He's been super pull heavy. If you look at his spray chart, it's actually kind of impressive. It almost looks like a right-handed Adam Dunn. All his hits are right down the left field line. Super pull heavy. He only has 5 opposite field hits, while 3 of those are home runs. Still, 5 of his hits to opposite field is not alarming. He's been the kind of guy that you used to see spray the ball all over the field. I don't know. Tampa Bay's one of those teams where it's they should be producing and being better than they are, and they're just not. And like I said, I've been an Arozarena fan for the last couple of years, and I think I might be out on him. I think the time has come. If I have any reason, I'm trying to bail and jump ship as quickly as I can at this point.
Completely agree. He's kind of at that age now where it's is this who you are?
Right.
And, maybe the Cardinals were right.
He did have back-to-back 2020 seasons and 2030 and 2022, but he's nowhere near that pace this year, and the batting average is just awful. He's batting 159. His OBP is 255. He has an OPS of 568 right now. There's probably at least 10 or 15 outfielders that have a slug almost as high as his OPS.
Out.
Yeah, like I said, I was out after 2022. He kind of reeled me back in last year in 2023. It's a pretty solid year. And this year, I think this is the year where it's time to jump ship. If you have him, I would be trying to sell him as quickly as possible. We're to a point now where I wouldn't even be surprised if the Rays start platooning him. If you want something really funny, so Roster Resource, which is now part of Fangraphs, if you go there, they highlight their platoons, the L next to their name, which way they bat, and the R next to someone's name is where they bat, is color when they're in a platoon. If you go look at the Rays Roster Resource, 90% of the batters in that lineup are in a platoon. And he would be on the weak side of that platoon. Therefore, I would not be shocked if these struggles continue. He would be up into a platoon because he's not even on the field for defense. His outs above average is at a -1. So it's not like he's out there for his defense either. So I think Reggie Rena's stock is way down. I would be selling him where you can.
I'm with you.
All right. Well, those are our stock up and stock down watch for after the month of May. We'll do this again in about another month or two, see where we're at on some of these other guys. Real quick, Vladimir trades, not Vladimir. Sorry, Ronald Acuna Jr. Let's hear it because I got one for you too.
Okay, can you go first? Because I need.
Yeah. So I don't want to release any names. It's people that we both know.
It's just
the trade. The trade right now is none of it's been accepted, but it's been negotiated back and forth. Right now, it would be Acuna and Christian Scott, pitcher for the Mets, for
C.J. Abrams.
Nope, Tucker. Not for me. This is not for me.
No.
For Tucker.
No. Easy no.
All right.
So I'm going to give you a couple.
Okay.
Both of these were rejected. One was me lowballing. It was Pablo Lopez for Ronald Acuna, which wasn't bad. So this team is competing. So I was just let's try that.
Yeah, if you're competing, especially someone that's in a win now, you got to dump Acuna for whatever you can at this point.
And then I also
someone's going to help you win this year, obviously.
In a different league, Dylan Cease for Ronald Acuna.
Again, if I'm hurting for pitching and I'm a win now team,
and then
I would maybe want in all those deals for either dynasty or redraft.
Both were dynasty.
I would like at least another throw in or two, maybe just some low tier prospects that have some upside, just to help sweeten the deal of getting rid of Acuna Jr. But yeah,
And then this was the one that was accepted in a league. So this is what I offered Pablo Lopez, and this is what he accepted, which I don't think I would have done. I don't think I would have traded Pablo Lopez for this package.
Okay.
Lindor, Severino, Teoscar Hernandez, Jesse Winker, and Nolan Arenado. That seems
for who? For Acuna?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
It's a lot because it's filling out a lot of spots. But like
and
player-wise, I feel like all those guys are like kind of on the
that's
back nine. All of
that's
them
very, very, very much a win now window trade. Because I honestly, Teoscar Hernandez alone would probably replace a lot of that production from Acuna, but only this year.
Yep.
You're on the verge of getting nothing from some like Arenado is toast basically this year. So yeah, that in a win now team,
yes,
that's a decent trade. But if you're in some like middle of the tier team, no, I'm not making that trade.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, that's going to do it for this week. We will be back at some point here in the near future. Maybe next week, we'll find out. But until next time, Nick, see ya.